Most Americans got to know Ethel as a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. You can hear some of those great-grandchildren hollering as we speak. The woman who, standing alongside her husband, Bobby, helped tap the idealism of an entire generation. The matriarch who instilled a commitment to justice in her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and helped raise a legion of change makers and public servants. And she was proud of those roles. She loved family, just as she loved friendship. But as anyone who ever met Ethel knows, she was a lot more than that. She was a big dose in a small package. While Bobby was shy and serious, apparently, Ethel was not. She was a spitfire from a young age. Some of you have heard the stories. The school yearbook describing her as, quote, alive with mischief. In college, demerits for a long list of infractions, including chewing gum and, quote, disorder in the tea room. I can only imagine what that was like. And that irrepressible spirit did not end once she left school, or after she was married, or had children, or became a grandmother. There's the famous party where she pushed Arthur Schlesinger Jr. and several cabinet members into the pool fully clothed. The touch football game where she bit the writer George Plimpton on the ankle. And of course, the rotating cast of family pets, dogs, horses, chickens, cats, goats, turtles, reputedly a hawk, an armadillo, and a seal. Not sure where they kept the seal. What made Ethel's mischief special, though, is how it was always joined to kindness and generosity and perspective and fortitude, in the same way that her joy, her zest for life, her love for people helped feed in her a righteous anger towards the many injustices in our world. Her life was marked by more tragedy and heartbreak than most of us could bear. And she would have been forgiven, I think, if at any point she had stepped away from public life or allowed bitterness to fester after all she and her family had been through. But that is not what Ethel did, because that's not who she was. We all know the story of how, on the train carrying her husband's body from New York to his final resting place in Arlington, she famously walked up and down the aisles trying to cheer up every friend and colleague and reporter on board. And in the years that followed, she kept doing what she and Bobby had always intended to do: fighting for what was right, supporting causes she believed in, encouraging those who were willing to take on the powers that be, lifting up the stories of those whose voices had been set aside or were forgotten, and making sure that her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren felt a responsibility to do the same. She became a passionate advocate for everything, from juvenile justice to civil rights to environmental protection. Well into her 80s, she's still out there marching for something. Through the center she created, in Bobby's name, she celebrated activists and journalists and educated people about threats to human liberty. She was willing to go to extraordinary lengths to support any cause that was close to her heart. I remember seeing a video of Ethel pour a bucket of ice water over her head to help raise money for ALS research. I remember this because she then tried to talk me into doing the same. I wrote a check instead. It is probably the only time that I ever said no to Ethel, and I suspect she wasn't too happy about it.